All right, we're gonna get the show started. Thanks. All right, bye. Yes. Well, no, no music tonight. We're gonna start right in this. So it's 5 minutes earlier, and let's get some stuff out of the way. In the subject line, I put in our phone number so you can call the Skype number and leave your voicemail. We thought it would be nice to add some voicemails from people. So it's 720-324-7278. That's 720-324-7278. And even if you see this in the middle of the night or you're in another country, it goes straight to the voicemail. So you're not going to wake me up.
That's absolutely right, folks. So just go ahead and leave your message, and we'll go ahead and feature what you've got to say on the next upcoming shows.
Yeah, a guy gave me that idea, and I should have did this a long time ago. Here, I got the Skype number, and eventually we'll take live calls. But right now, we'll just do it this way. Also, you can go to our 24 hours, 7 days a week, Innervision FM.com, where we're playing music and having talk shows and things of this sort. And the Alfonso and the Clone Show is on Fridays from 3 to 5. And then Robert Randall, he's on from 5:30 to 6 o'clock. And it's just a lot of fun programming, so you can go over there and check that out. Also, we do have a car donation. If you want to help us out, if you have an old car, RV or boat or something like that, and you want to help out, you can go to our website, innervisionrecords.org, and find out more about our car donations. And let's see and then PayPal, to help keep the lights on, paypal.me/InnervisionDenver. That's paypal.me/InnervisionDenver. All right. So tonight we're gonna have a few topics. Of course, Colin Powell just died, I guess, today, and not exactly sure if he was Republican or Democrat. I mean, he was there, and he was called to do some things that he didn't agree with during the Bush era, as far as like saying there were weapons of mass destruction and the evidence didn't show that, but you do as the chief executive says, and there you have it. And he was double vaccinated, but they said he died of COVID, but it seemed like he had cancer in his blood and some other things going on. So
yeah, he wasn't super healthy anyway. At the age of 84, he was much less healthy than, say, the gentleman that just went up into space last week, William Shatner. Unfortunately, he did have cancer. He did kind of double dip. It looks like he either got the vaccine one time, I should say, got the full vaccine the one time needed. Mm-hmm. So he was all updated on his vaccines, but unfortunately there was a breakthrough case, and in his weakened immuno state, I guess you might say, he just he didn't make it.
Yeah. Now, in a lot of people's cases, if you do like what Wayne Dupree did and many others, and you start treatment before you get to that, there's that 14-day period or whatever, which the government doesn't advertise. They don't tell you about. They just say they want you to go take the jab, and they don't advertise the vitamin Z, the zinc, those other methods, and the antibiotics that you can get to lessen the severity. They just want you to wait until the 14th day you can hardly breathe, and then you come in and ventilator, $39,000, whoopee.
And at that point, once you get to a place where you're on a ventilator, statistically speaking, it doesn't look good after that.
Yeah,
it just doesn't look good.
So do your research, and I guess pay attention to what they're not saying. Dr. Fauci, liar. So I don't know how much you want to listen to him, and most of these other government people. It seemed like that. I saw a report that a lot of the people in Congress have stock in the drug.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It would not surprise me. Everybody's got to make their money and things like that, and this has become one of the hugest money making industries out there. Everything from making homemade masks as a side hustle and maybe selling them on different platforms, thus making it to where our fearless President Brandon has decided to go ahead and monitor all of our bank accounts, anything over $600, whether that be, I don't know. I don't know whether that's just a $600 transaction, whether that's $600 or more, or whether that's $600 per transaction. I just, he's really been unclear on that. And anytime that there's pressing on that, are you really doing this? Yeah, we're really doing this. And you're just a common individual, so you get to deal.
And if these 80,000 IRS new people that they want to hire, they probably won't catch you until like you turn in your taxes, and then they'll look over your whole tax record, your whole bank account, and say, well, you didn't have $600, but then you got another $600 like in the middle of the month, or you got another $600. So where did you get all the $600? And it's like, now you know what it feels like to get audited, like most businesses and millionaires.
Part of me, this is really interesting, Johnny, because part of me is disgusted by this. Part of me is it makes perfect sense, because why, heck, they're already doing it to the blind community. If you make any sort of money and you're on Social Security disability income, why, if you do not report your annual income, you will be found out and you will be made to pay your overpayment back, even to the point where there have been times, like with people like myself, where I've always faithfully reported everything. But back in 1984, when I first started receiving supplemental Social Security income, I got overpaid by about $40,000, magical $40,000. Back in the mid 80s and late 80s, there were lots of our blind compatriot friends who experienced a letter indicating that they got overpaid by $40,000. A lot of people were able to get their ducks in a row, and they were able to have a hearing and prove, no, you didn't overpay me. But unfortunately, I was a kid. And when I found out about this, I was living with, I guess, my father at the time. So he would have been my representative payee. And so consequently, it is interesting that I got charged the full amount for a debt that was never overpaid, first off. But second off, I was able to pay back this fictitious debt all the way up until my first job, where I filed taxes in 1998, I guess it was. And our Uncle Sam and our brother Bill got together and they squished their heads all together. Gotta love our rich relatives. And they just said, hey, guess what? We're going to write that last $614 and change off. And hey, thank you for paying your fair share from 1986 to 1998. I said, but I was never overpaid, so you owe me. No. That's not the way that works. You only have a 60-day time window to appeal. And if for some reason there's a hearing held, but you don't get to find out about it, it doesn't matter. That hearing still goes off without a hitch. And it's even better if the hearing is held and you're not in evidence there to present any. I mean, you're not present. You're not present to submit any evidence. So, yeah. So all this to tell you, Johnny, that I was scared. I wanted to work just like everybody else, but by golly, if they can do this to somebody who has not been overpaid and make them to pay back 12 years of, oops, sorry, just a clerical error, but I can't tell them that because I was way over my legal limit. So,
I remember when they did that, they said I didn't pay child support, and my mother gave me the best advice that I had never had. She says, always keep receipts. So, me and my wife, we didn't need to get the courts involved. We just said, okay, we agreed to pay this much. We let them know. I just, go to King Soopers, get a money order, give you this amount, keep the receipts. Then they said, well, Johnny, you didn't pay child support, so they took my tax, my tax receipts, my taxes refund. And I fought, and I went to this person and the person higher up, and I had nothing better to do. I worked at night, so I went there during the day. And finally, I kept showing them the receipts, Finally, not only did they not give me back the money, they did give me back the money that they owed me, plus some over that. So sometimes it works out, but I mean, man, you really gotta have the receipts to show that you didn't and all that kind of stuff. But
so and that's really the bottom line, folks. Is I could cry and whine about how unjust our rich relatives are to me. My brother Bill and my uncle Sam. I mean, he already took my American native relatives from me. He already took and smashed the upbringing that I could have had with the tribal elders of the Comanche or Blackfoot tribes, and all this neat stuff. And he's worried about whether or not there was an overpayment. And now with this $600, oh yeah, you can bet you I'm going to keep every single silly receipt that I've got, which I did anyway. But now everybody gets to do it. Everybody gets to do this.
Man. Yeah, so, which you didn't know about it before, but now you're gonna get a taste of
you're gonna
the
get
blind
a taste
world.
Just like you're gonna get a taste just like the blind community has. It's not. I will say it's not palatable, and I will stand alongside you, and I will say, my brother, sister, whatever. I feel your pain. I know what you're saying, but unless and until we, as a society en masse, say no more, this is going to continue to happen.
Oh yeah. And I was just thinking, like, it was an old kind of saying, like they came for my neighbor, but I didn't say nothing. They came for my person across the way. I didn't say nothing. They came for another person. I didn't say nothing. But then they came for me, and there was nobody left
to say anything.
Yeah. So
that's absolutely right, folks.
Yes.
And that's the way that communism works. It cloaks itself in a socialist kind of, now we need to actually redistribute this wealth. And we need to take that top 1% or whatever the percentage is in the given country where socialism becomes communism. We need to take these folks and we just need to redistribute their wealth. So then all the art, all the music, all of the monetary gain that are experienced by the upper crust then it does get stolen and it does get redistributed. The only problem is it only redistributes as far as to the folks in power. Once it hits the folks in power, the poor folk never see it. And the rich folk that were once rich, ultra rich, are now part of the poor folk, and they don't know how to exist.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. And I know like my wife and other people they say like when they find out like all these rules, especially if you live in like a Section 8 household. I mean, it's really funny. Just recently, I guess Social Security once again said, we overpaid you, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago. I said, well, why didn't you tell me 20 years ago? But anyway, they said, well, we're going to take $150 I think it's like $116 out of your check every month. So so they're doing that. So I sent in a letter saying, why I disagree and all that kind of stuff. But the money started coming out on May 16th. So I tell the guys I rent from here that this happened. Well, somehow they don't read the paperwork, and so I said, okay, you're not reading. I'm just going to deduct for my rent that thing. And then they finally got a heads up in August after I started paying $100 and $160 less. I said, well, no, it was like, really, we could take $35 off. Let's see, was it $35? I think it was $35, but not $116. I said, why can't So then is it? But before they said that, they said, well, you owe us money back from then. So I gave them a check for that stuff. But then they changed their mind and said, we just thought it was just for a couple of months. We didn't know that it was for, May, June, July, August. So they just went back to July. But then I said, wait a minute, let's go back to May. So I still cut them a check for $35 minus May, even like June. But it's like when you live in this system, and I know I sent you a few of those videos from it's called Ability One, and it was a seminar I didn't even know about. It's in Washington, and behind the scenes, I guess there are organizations, they're making money, and they're hiring or training and hiring blind people and veterans to do jobs for the United States. They're being contracted to do jobs. And I sort of knew about this, but I got a chance to listen to some of the seminars. And this system for the blind has been around since 1938. And you probably know this, Alan, but for the people out there who never been around disabled people or blind people, and it was updated in 71 to say you must integrate people with extreme disabilities and veterans, right?
Yeah.
Then that sort of took something away from us, because I think in mid 2000s they said, well, it's for veterans, so we're going to take some of these contracts that you had away, and then I guess they went and lobbied, and then in 2006 they rebranded the name to Ability One. And then they got back some of the contracts that were taken away because of the veterans initiative. So they almost like vetting the veterans who are disabled against the blind people who are either born blind or whatever. It's like those two groups are back and forth. And it was really interesting. I was listening to it. I'm glad they're only like 1 hour. Because they were like,
I didn't receive emails, nor did I receive any sort of text with regard to today's particular program. So I do apologize if I look like or seem like I'm a little off topic.
No. This stuff, if it didn't get to you, because I was sharing it a little bit, because it happened in 2020. These meetings happened 2020 of last year. So we were both in the dark, and until I met this guy by accident off of YouTube, named Walter Cotton, who works for this organization called Boots on the Ground for veterans, and he's been trying to get me in a position to get our nonprofit into a position to generate enough money where we can hire and all that kind of stuff. Sure. I wouldn't have known about it. He sent me the link, and I guess this is a disability month. October is a disability
awareness, yeah.
And I would guess that there's a lot of things going on, but unless you're in the loop, and now I'm signed up on the website, so I probably missed this year's Zoom meetings, because last year it was Zoom meetings, which made it very accessible. Because usually I guess they have them come to the Washington to meet together and talk about the stuff. And usually there's no videos of the talks. And so it was very interesting. It's about 8 8 Zoom meetings, and I've got through, I think, 7 so far. And it's just interesting to see the inner workings. And they were even talking about, well, maybe we should get rid of Ability One because it did this. I guess one of the commissions they had, like blind and deaf and blind, and they were saying like the success rate was 16 people, right? And some,
The thing is, there's got to be marketing for this if you want success.
Yeah. And I thought, like, yeah, come on my radio show. I'll market it. You give me some funding so I can push that stuff out.
That's right. That's right. Now, I do got to wonder what's going to happen with our beloved, most highly esteemed President Biden. I almost threw up in my mouth saying that. Sorry. I wonder what's going to happen with President Biden and his all federal workers, whether they be contract workers or whatever. They've got to get this. They've got to get the vacation package on board before, and a full measure vacation package, not just one piece of the vacation where it's just a flight out to a certain place. But you've got to have the round trip ticket, and you've got to have your hotel stay and everything paid for. Not talking about tickets and hotel stays, folks, but you two, our benevolent overlords, don't like when we bring up certain things. So we're just going to call this thing the vacation package. And so anyway, I got to wonder how that's going to play out, because you got your federal contracts that have to be fulfilled. But yet there are plenty of folks out there that are still not quite fully on board with the vacation package as it stands.
And in the regular sector as well as the government sector. And I sort of wonder, because this one, and these programs, some of them are doing very well. And then this guy, he was talking about Colorado. It seemed like DVR is very against competition in Colorado Springs, as far as like putting disabled people to work. And unless you know to ask specifically for Ability One, they will not tell you, blind people.
See, that's a very interesting point that you just brought up, Johnny, that there are governmental agencies within our federal government that are literally, if they're not for a certain program and they want a certain program to not succeed, and then of course they want to make sure that program goes away for other individuals to apply for the next year, the next 5 years down the road, why they'll go ahead and make sure just not to market it. Yeah.
And it seems like it started happening like this in 2016, and they're just now getting back on track. I think it was like last year. Yeah, last year. So they were out of the loop for all those years, just trying to get back on track. And it's like, so look at all those people that could have had good paying jobs with benefits, with other stuff going on, but because of DVR, Colorado DVR, they said no, we don't think so. We want to fart around and play games with our disabled people and just pretend like we're looking to place them in a job when there's good paying jobs and that you have, that they could, if they don't want it, they don't have to take it. But if they don't know about it, how can they have a choice?
That's absolutely right. And that's why the nationwide unemployment figures in the blind community, just in the blind community, are so high, really. I mean, 66%, let's just say 2/3, 2 out of 3 of you guys don't work. Boy, there'd be some things going on in the streets. Well, let's bump that up. Let's say 9 out of 10 of us don't work. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Yeah. Gee. Yeah.
And I will tell you, every single time that government's getting ready to shut down and they say, well, you guys may not get your Social Security. Check this out. It might be delayed. That puts us in a special kind of fear. And the adversary loves it when we're in fear, folks. But that's why, that's why I can't help it. I've got to stand up and say, hey, you know what? Our only hope is in Jesus Christ. And it's easy. It's easy. It's like the alphabet. Just acknowledge and accept his death on the cross for our sins and that free gift of eternal life that has been purchased by his very blood for us, all of us, every single one of us, blind or sighted, black or white, green, yellow, blue, doesn't matter whether you can walk, doesn't matter whether you can hear, doesn't matter whether you've got full capacity of your mental faculties or whether you got none. He died for all of us, all of our sins. And it's easy. Just go ahead and believe that. And then confess that with your mouth that Jesus Christ is Lord, because bottom line is it's going to happen anyway. When the all powerful creator comes back and says, hey, guess what, guys? Who's the Lord here? There's going to be no choice at that point. So I would submit that it'd be great if one just, it's easy. Just accept that gift and believe that he died on the cross and confess with your mouth that Jesus Christ is Lord. And then you're on a path. I will tell you, it's not for the faint of heart, and it is a rocket ride. And when you are walking in his footsteps, when you are doing the things that he has set out for us to do, there's going to be attack. There's going to be tribulation. There's going to be trouble. Because the adversary will not stop until he persecutes his, I look at it this way. All right. So
22 minutes.
Oh, we're okay. Let me be quick. So God creates the angels and they're all hanging out. They're all sons and daughters of God and whatever. Then he goes ahead and he creates Adam and Eve. And he's like, hey, guess what, angels? You guys have to worship him or worship Adam here. And, they didn't like that very much. Like, wait. You gave us all the power and all the... And God says, well, I gave these guys here, man, I gave humankind more power. Dominion over the earth, able to subdue everything and put it under his feet, so that we could co-rule together, me and them. But it worked out differently, and so we are in the process of walking out the end result of that curse, which can be lifted if only we follow Jesus Christ. Sorry about that, buddy.
Hey, that's all right. Buttigieg was the topic. It seemed like him and his husband took 2 months off. He's on the transportation board of the White House, and he took 2 months off for him and his husband, so-called husband, to adopt. They adopted a child and wanted to spend that 2 months with them. And as I said, I can understand if it was a woman and she needed like help with the husband, help with the child, and whatever. Maybe 2, maybe 3 weeks, but 2 months, 2 guys, I don't know. And so, of course, we had a bottleneck with there's going to be a shortage for Halloween. There's going to be a shortage for Thanksgiving. There's going to be a shortage for Christmas. It won't bother Biden, the globalists, the government, rich people in general, and it won't even bother us who are Christian, who know that Jesus is a reason for the season.
That's right. But
I mean, trust you guys. You're on your own.
Yeah, sorry to say. I mean, that's just the way it is, because without hope in Jesus Christ, there is no hope. And when people start being short on the things they want, need, and desire, then there starts to be a little bit of dissatisfaction going on. So,
Nixon, what were you thinking?
Hey, folks.
Yeah, I was just saying, Nixon, what were you thinking when you went over there and you outsourced all of our jobs to China? I mean, well, he's dead and long gone, so he doesn't have to worry about it. But some of these things these politicians do, and not and they do it behind our backs with the globalists and all that kind of stuff. And one never asked my family, hey, do you want your jobs to be overseas? And yeah, okay, they're cheaper, but you know, you can make them expensive here and just have living wages. I don't know. It just seemed like very unusual. Anyway, what can I say?
Well, God willing, I can say this for us, man. We're going to have a fun show tomorrow. We try to really push the business of music and how music is made, because that is one thing that will always unify everybody. A good little song. Ain't nothing better than that one little song.
Yeah. Now I'm going to tell you about a show, Reggie Carr, that I'm going to be on this talk show on Friday. And we want to get some of you guys to call in and all that kind of stuff. But I'll tell you more about that later on as well. And tomorrow it'll be another fun show. We'll have some different, and I'll try to get it to you like sooner. Because
it's not even your fault. I think there's something up with my texting and my email, because of course our big brother is making sure that everybody's stuff has to be monitored. So stuff, as they put the infrastructure together, why it's going to be there's going to be a few hiccups where you may not get your emails.
Yeah. Because it's like, and I looked around and said, oh, it's 5:36. Oh man, gee. It's like, all right, so we'll see you guys later. Tomorrow here on Innervision FM, Innervision TV.
God bless everybody.